Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Please leave a like so this video is recommended to others, and hit that subscribe button so you can keep seeing videos just like this.
Rainy, hey. Come here, Rainy, quit. Okay. Hey.
Oh snap. No. That lady better start sprinting out of there. You went to go get the whole pack. That sounded like a lot of coyotes, man. A lot.
You may have heard about this story, but I don't think you know how dark it is. In October of 2011, a man intentionally cut open the cages of 56 wild animals he was keeping in his backyard, unleashing them on his town. But let's talk about why it happened and the man who did it. And if you don't want spoilers, this week's episode is all about people that try to own exotic and wild animals and their deadly consequences, so you don't want to miss it. So in October of 2011, people in Zanesville, Ohio started calling 911 when they saw lions and tigers in the woods. Police already knew about Terry Thompson, who lived in the area and kept wild animals in cages on his property, including lions, tigers, other big cats, bears, baboons, you name it. But in Ohio at the time, there technically weren't any laws against that. So though Terry was keeping these animals in horrible conditions, he wasn't really doing anything wrong. So the police go to Terry's property to check out what's going on, but when they get there, not only do they find that Terry had taken his own, but he had cut open all of the cages of all of his animals before he did it. And to make matters worse, he had surrounded himself with raw chicken as if he was trying to entice the animals to come. The police ultimately were able to locate him because he was being by one of his tigers. So this guy John actually worked with Terry, and he said that the night before this happened, Terry received a letter suggesting that his wife had been having an affair. So that's our best guess as to why this happened, but ultimately 49 of his 56 animals had to be put down by the police. And lastly, and probably most disturbing of all, when the coroner's report came back on Terry, they found that his were missing, and it was unclear if that happened before or after the tiger got him.
I don't think that last little detail really matters, but okay. That's crazy what a broken heart can do to a man. And all those animals had to be put down for nothing too.
There is no way I'm seeing this right. So apparently here in Arizona, there's no such thing as grass that's alive and green. So here they have to paint the grass green. Like there's literally a guy going around with a machine and spray painting the grass green. So this is what the grass normally looks like, nice and dead. Then you come over here, luscious and green. Like look, if you touch it, green paint.
Wow.
As you can see, they haven't gotten to the other side yet. Must not have lived here long enough. This is crazy.
That cannot be healthy, man. Why are they doing this? Like, I'm pretty sure that's probably killing the grass a little bit more. They should probably just water it. They got those expensive fountains just shooting water at nothing, but let's paint the grass. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
This is the only member of the genus Theropithecus, which loosely translates to beast ape. When intimidating others, they flip their lip up to their nose, and they pull back on their scalp, exposing those pale eyelids. There are so many bizarre primates which rarely ever get talked about, and the gelada is one of the most unique. They spend more time on the ground than any other non-human primate, and their diet consists mainly of grass. They're basically like cattle primates. They even live in large social herds. The largest of these herds, they counted over 1,200 members. While grazing, they have a weird gait where they just kind of squat and shuffle their body side to side really slowly. In some primates, like chimps and baboons, the butt will get really bright and inflamed to kind of signal that they're ready to mate. But because the gelada shuffle makes their butts so much less visible, the females of this species have actually evolved they call it a necklace, but it's these pus-filled blisters that develop around that patch. They've even formed some deep bond with the local Ethiopian wolves. When they show up, very few of the Gelada monkeys even feel the need to move away. They just kind of stay there and chill. A study found that the Gelada monkeys, they roughly tried to flee maybe 10% of the times they encountered these wolves, which doesn't seem like a big deal, except when you consider the fact that domestic dogs will often send them scrambling up the cliffside. And speaking of trust, Gelada monkeys were the first non-human animal ever discovered cheating on their partners and trying to cover it up. In these acts of cheating, both individuals hid their normal mating cries to lower the chances of getting caught. If they do get caught, the dominant male of the harem would punish the cheaters. And if that harem leader is ever replaced, studies have found up to 80% of the females that were previously impregnated by that leader will experience an aborted pregnancy.
That's a freaking scary looking animal right there. I've never even heard of this species. I thought they were baboons at first. That's so weird that they have fangs though if they eat grass, because I think baboons do eat meat.
So believe it or not, this 200-foot radio tower was somehow just stolen without a trace. Just a few days ago, the crew of the WJLX radio station in Jasper, Alabama were heading over to do some maintenance on this tower when they were shocked to find that it had just vanished. Although it seems impossible, some thieves had apparently managed to get away with a 200-foot tall object without making too much noise or having anyone see them. These thieves had professionally cut all the wires that attached the tower to the ground, which allowed them to move it. They also stole every other piece of equipment nearby, all while leaving zero evidence behind. The radio station's general manager said that he's been in the radio business for 30 years and he's never even heard of anything like this.
What the hell kind of Fast and the Furious heist was that, dude? They stole a whole antenna? What would you even do with that though? Other than scrap it for money, man.
People all over TikTok are noticing that there are ants inside of their TV. At first, many people thought that it was part of the show that they were watching, but then they started noticing that the bugs were multiplying and creating a colony inside of their screen.
Tell me, how the hell did all these ants get into my television? Look, it's a whole ant colony.
It's unclear how the ants get inside or why they're attracted to the TV, considering there is no food or moisture, but regardless, it's resulting in people having to throw away their TV and spend thousands of dollars getting a new one.
My son said, Mom, there's ants on the TV. Mom. Okay, had a look. Had a look.
The good news is that this is happening mainly in Australia, as the country is absolutely filled with insects to the point where it's very common to have them inside your house. So many people are now speculating that if you leave your TV off for a long period of time, the ants may be inclined to make it their new home.
RIP Australia. I'm sorry for your loss. That one guy had a full-on roach in his though. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. That's a full-on roach, my boy. I think you got a different issue.
This is why you don't take creepy dolls from anyone. A paranormal investigator by the name Antonio Zamudio was interviewed on a podcast where he explains that he was called in to work on a case where a boy named Augusto bought a doll at a garage sale. But immediately as he brought it home, his mother began hearing voices from his room and catching him waking up at 3 a.m. to talk to the doll. As Antonio and the team arrive at their home and set up their equipment around the doll, the boy Augusto heads to his room to go to bed, and that's when they captured this. The doll can be seen running towards Augusto's room. Ever since the incident, Antonio keeps the doll sealed in a box as he believes something sinister lives inside.
Bro, I know that was fake, but that was hella disturbing. I actually hated that video. That was really bad in a good way. It was actually creepy.
Disturbing facts that may ruin your day. Your brain blocks out the feeling of your organs moving around inside of your body at all times. After giving birth, some women can feel their organs sliding back into place as their uterus shrinks. Human babies are helpless at birth compared to other animals because our brains grow so big. We evolved to give birth earlier in our development so that we don't severely hurt the mother while coming out of the birth canal. Your nose is always in your line of sight. Your brain just chooses to ignore it. You could look at any object and your tongue already knows what it feels like to lick it. You could have 2/3 of your liver removed and it would regenerate itself. If your immune system found out that you had eyes, it would attack them and you would go blind. No matter how hard you strain, you're only using about 60% of your full strength. If your brain didn't stop you, you could tear your muscles and break your bones just trying to throw a ball as hard as you can. When you hear about mothers lifting cars, this is thought to be the fight or flight adrenaline temporarily overriding that limit. If you have surgery and they have to take out your intestines, they put them in a bowl next to them while they work. Your intestines wiggle around in the bowl like snakes the whole time.
I don't know how accurate this is, but I can feel my organs moving when I eat Taco Bell. That one might be a little wrong. I wish he didn't tell me about the nose one, because I feel like that's gonna bother me a little bit. Thanks, sir.
Ese over there. The Nellis Air Force Base is following it. It's right there. You see it? They following.
What could that one be? That one was kind of UFO shaped, if you ask me. I don't know about that one. That one looked pretty good.
People are mad at this man for secretly trying to skydive off of a hot air balloon.
You don't let go of my hand, I'll hit you. Stop it. You let go of my rig. No, I'm not letting you. You're trying to jump, man.
So this man went on a hot air balloon with a group of people and he planned to jump off, not telling the operator initially he wanted to do this.
He was equipped with a parachute that he hid under his jacket and only revealed when he was like up in the air and about to jump off.
And once they were up in the sky, the operator refused to let him go for safety reasons and not risking something happening to the air balloon. However, this man kept on insisting to wanting to skydive off the air balloon, and the operator was concerned that the balloon might tip over because of balance.
I can't stop you physically. I'm going down right now.
Yeah, please.
Can you please cooperate, please? Come on.
And while all of this is happening, the operator kept on descending so fast, so he couldn't jump.
Oh, man. No, come on, man, no. I'm telling you, no. Stop pushing it.
But instead of apologizing, the man regrets not jumping without telling the operator.
I know what the safety situation would be with the balloon, so I wanted to give him a heads up about the weight. Yeah, but you should have stand on this side. I know, I should have, yeah.
Now people are mad at him for being inconsiderate for everyone on the ride.
That right there is called being entitled. Why didn't he just sign up for skydiving? Was a hot air balloon cheaper or something? He wasn't trying to pay that premium skydiving price maybe?
I hadn't tapped it, I hadn't inserted it, I hadn't swiped it, and then all of a sudden out comes the receipt. And I said, how did this get paid for?
The cashier couldn't explain it.
She stood there literally just sort of blank. I really thought that the guy ahead of me, that he had been charged. I said, somebody paid for this on a credit card somewhere.
Turns out the tap-to-pay card reader at Safeway had ignored the debit card in Edgar's hand. Instead, it reached into Edgar's back pocket, threw his wallet, and charged his Bank of America credit card tucked inside.
That's a pretty big reach. I mean, around me or through me to my wallet. Why didn't it grab the card that was near it? How did it decide what to grab?
I was shocked. I was like, well, it can't be.
Sonia Cesare says it happened at a doctor's office.
I went to pay and they said, you're already paid. And I said, I haven't inserted my card. I haven't even taken it out of my wallet.
Turns out the card reader there had sent radio waves into her purse and charged her credit card without her knowing it. And that wasn't all. Sonia got an even bigger surprise at a little shop.
The woman said, oh my, it's just read 3 cards.
The store's tap-to-pay system charged not only 1, but 3 credit cards tucked in a wallet inside her purse.
I'd say I was 2 feet away at that point, for sure.
All charges were reversed, but it was troubling.
Most wallets they sell now are RFID. I assumed everybody had a wallet like that. I guess purses aren't made with that material. Find you a purse that can block that signal.
I don't think the world is ready for the new level of fake videos that old people are going to be sharing on Facebook. This is OpenAI's new video creator, and this was the prompt: a litter of golden retriever puppies playing in the snow. Their heads pop out of the snow covered in it. And it honestly looks crazy realistic. Just know, as soon as a young person starts uploading clips from it onto Facebook, the old people are gonna go wild. And if you think there's any hope that old people will be able to tell it's fake, well, this is proof that they can't. Recently, a huge trend has been going around showing grandparents GTA 5 footage and telling them it's from the news. And they gobble it up like it's nobody's business. It's the funniest thing ever. It is absolutely bonkers to think a year ago this was the best that an AI could do. It looks incredibly fake and just crappy. But the fact it can make videos like this that look insanely realistic, good luck, Grandma and Grandpa, because even I don't know what's real at this point. That's my opinion. What do y'all think?
Something still looks off. Maybe it's because I know it's AI. I can see how people that aren't looking for it are gonna fall for it. So it's for sure gonna get crazy.
Morbid Facts, Part 195. After being a massive Nickelodeon star in the 90s and early 2000s since the age of 10, Amanda Bynes faced a public downfall after retiring from acting in 2009. She began raising eyebrows in 2012 when she received a DUI upon crashing into a police cruiser. After being released, she was arrested several more times for DUIs, holding up traffic, and hit and runs before having her license suspended. In May of 2013, officers arrested Bynes yet again for reckless endangerment amid reports that she threw a out of her New York apartment window. That same year, she was sent to a psychiatric hospital after starting a fire in someone's driveway in California. In 2014, Amanda tweeted that her father abused her as a child. She later claimed that this wasn't actually true, but a microchip implanted in her brain by her father forced her to say it. Soon afterwards, Bynes revealed that she'd been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and conservatorship had been granted to her parents. In recent years, there have thankfully been signs of her working towards recovery and receiving support.
That's crazy, man. I can't believe that's what she looks like now. Do you guys know about the whole Dan Schneider situation? Kind of creepy, a little bit of a weirdo. There's a lot of rumors and conspiracies about that man. He probably had something to do with her going a little cuckoo.
Sub has gone missing beneath the Doomsday Glacier in Antarctica, and some of the details of its disappearance are frightening. If you haven't heard of it, the Doomsday Glacier is a massive glacier in Antarctica that is rapidly collapsing. The reason it's called the Doomsday Glacier is that its collapse will lead to significant sea level rise and will also trigger the collapse of nearby glaciers, leading to even more sea level rise. This little unmanned submersible was named RAN and was only one of 3 of its kind. Because it was unmanned, researchers would program it to go on set routes hundreds of meters beneath the ice. And before its disappearance, it had already completed several successful research trips. However, on its most recent trip, the sub did not show up at its pre-programmed rendezvous point. Attempts were made to locate the sub, but it is now without power, and they say it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack without knowing where the haystack is. The Doomsday Glacier is already contributing 4% to all global sea level rise, but if it were to completely collapse, it would raise sea levels by 25 inches. The Doomsday Glacier is the size of Florida, and scientists say that it's holding on by its fingernails. And this was in 2022. And since then, 2023 was the hottest year ever recorded, and January is already breaking heat records, so it's not looking good for the Doomsday Glacier.
What the crap? Why is this my first time hearing about this? Isn't 25 inches like really serious? That sounds serious, man. I don't know enough about this to know whether I should be scared or not.
This creepy video comes from TikTok user Mandy ASMR22, I'll tag her below. And you may have seen that previous clip because she posted it in 2022 from her Ring camera. But just recently, she posted another video from the woods in her backyard that left me really unsettled. And she posted it for her followers, hoping they could tell her what it is to ease her mind. Here's part of that video, but definitely go check out her page and follow her for updates. And let me know what you think.
What do you mean someone let me know which animal makes these noises so I can sleep tonight? Yeah, don't worry about it. It's probably some deer. Maybe the crickets.
So did you see the lady that actually proved the Mandela effect is a government experiment?
So she was able to prove this?
Yeah, so one of the most popular Mandela effects is the Fruit of the Loom Mandela effect, where everybody remembers there being a cornucopia on the logo of Fruit of the Loom clothing, but apparently there's not. And this lady was super convinced that there used to be a cornucopia on the logo, but Fruit of the Loom came out and said that they've never had a cornucopia, basically just calling this lady crazy. And Fruit of the Loom even has a post of all the past logos they had all the way back to like 1893. And basically they're trying to prove that they've never had a cornucopia on their logo. But then someone came out and they actually have photo proof of this, that they found a piece of clothing in their closet with the cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom logo. And then after this, people did more digging and they actually found newspaper articles talking about Fruit of the Loom and how there's a cornucopia around it.
Wait, so this is like the first Mandela effect to really be confirmed?
Yeah, then they literally found government documents of the Fruit of the Loom company mentioning a cornucopia, showing that the cornucopia has been a part of the company. So they can't say it's never existed. And since this lady has been able to prove this Mandela effect wrong, people now think that the government has been using the Mandela effect to try to see how much history they could erase without the population knowing.
The government might come after you now for saying that.
They're just gaslighting us for no reason. I'm starting to think they just do it for fun now. What do they have to gain from lying? I think it's to make you doubt every thought thought in your head to the point where you just think you're going crazy. That's probably all they're trying to do.
The US Navy is teaching sea lions to play video games, which means that it's somebody's actual job to develop video games for Navy sea lions. And now they've even developed multiplayer games so that they can play against their caretakers. But it's not because they're trying to build an aquatic esports team. Through their marine mammal program, the Navy trains sea lions to attach recovery lines to Navy equipment on the ocean floor. They work and train in the open ocean every day, and they're free to swim away if they'd like to, but over several decades, that's only happened a couple times. And that's because they seem to really enjoy their situation in the marine mammal program. In addition to protection from predators, daily health screenings, and guaranteed food, the program provides the Navy sea lions with tons of playtime, and the video games are just one way they're providing enrichment and mental stimulation. The video games also help us learn about how these marine mammals think and solve problems. And it turns out that the sea lions, like this avid gamer named Spike, love the video games so much that they'll come back to play again and again, whether or not they're being rewarded with fresh fish. So far, Spike and his friends have been able to work through mazes and collect moving objects using the navigation buttons. And many of them, like Spike, even do a little happy dance when they complete a level. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day.
So actual real Navy SEALs. That's pretty cool. This is probably the coolest use of tax money I've seen. I like it. I approve.
If you try and get a job at the FBI or the CIA, NSA, any of these three-letter agencies, you don't know how crazy the background checks are for these jobs. These ones where you're like, you're gonna know the secrets, they have crazy background checks. So besides all the polygraphs, all the regular stuff that you'd expect, going into your financials, they also go and they ask every teacher you've ever had in high school, middle school, elementary school, college. If they're still alive, they go talk to them and see what kind of person you are. You're required to put down any friend you've ever had, and they go talk to them. And they don't tell the person that they're talking to, oh, Steve is applying to the CIA. No, they just go, hey, we have some questions that we need to ask you about Steve. And even if it's that random buddy that you haven't talked to in 20 years, well, the FBI, the CIA, somebody's going to be popping up. It's probably going to be the FBI, and they're going to go and they're going to be asking questions about you, and they're going to think that you're a criminal. Anyone you've ever had any real connection to, they're going to go talk to. They might even just go through your yearbook. They're going to go through all that information, and they're going to go talk to them because they need to make sure you're not a spy, that you're not some sort of sleeper agent, that you weren't doing all kinds of crazy bad stuff. They're going to go figure it out. And if you lie about it on your polygraph, you're not going to get the job. So you even need to be truthful. Like, were you doing a little something when you were in high school? You got to tell them.
Polygraph tests have been proven to not really be accurate, so I don't know how true that part would be. They're gonna have to lower the standard for the FBI nowadays, because there's definitely dirt on everybody now. They're gonna find all your TikTok dances and all your mean tweets you ever made.
This couple found a $1.5 billion gemstone deposit in the US, and the state doesn't allow them to mine it. In 2021, Gary and Mary Freeman from Maine stumbled upon an enormous deposit of lithium crystals beneath the ground while searching for gemstones on a plot of land that they own in the woods of western Maine. Valued at approximately $1.5 billion, this deposit is one of the largest and purest lithium reserves worldwide, and if extracted, would make the couple extremely wealthy. It even has the potential to help the US become more self-reliant and support the country's transition to cleaner energy, given the crucial role of lithium in electric car batteries and solar energy storage. However, the couple is currently in a legal battle with the state of Maine over the rights to mine the site. There are concerns regarding potential soil and water pollution in the region, in addition to nearby Native American communities opposing the operation due to fears of potential displacement from their land. Do you think the state should allow the mining operations?
Just cash it in and make your money, man. Why do they keep doing this? And they own the land too. How are you gonna tell somebody they can't dig up dirt from their own land?
So I'm sure you've seen this photo a bunch of times, but if you don't know the full story, let's get into it. So this is an NYPD officer that is coming face to face with Ming, the 425-pound tiger. Now, Ming was being kept illegally in a Harlem apartment. And this guy right here is Mr. Yates, and he bought Ming when he was an 8-week-old cub. He started out bottle feeding Ming, but then he eventually got to the point where he was giving him 20 pounds of chicken every single day when he went to work. And in 3 years, Ming grew to be over 400 pounds. Now you're probably wondering, how did absolutely nobody know that this guy was keeping a tiger? And well, that's not the case. It was pretty much just a well-kept secret between the neighbors. The housing agency received complaints of urine smell from his apartment, but nothing about a tiger or even the alligator that they also took from his apartment. And the alligator and Ming were not the only exotic animals that had ever been in Mystery 8's apartment. Apparently, he also had things like monkeys, llamas, hyenas, tarantulas, snakes, and also a lion cub in there at one point. The tiger most likely would have gone unnoticed for a little bit longer if it hadn't been for a kitten that Mr. Yates also rescued. One day, Ming lunged towards the cat and Mr. Yates intervened, where he then got cut up on his arm. He went to the Harlem hospital and said that he had been attacked by pit bulls, but the hospital staff didn't believe him because of how big the cuts were. So that's when they alerted authorities and they came face to face with Ming. They then subdued Ming and took him out of the apartment, as well as a 5-foot-long alligator that he kept in a fiberglass tank named Al. Both of those animals were transferred to a wildlife sanctuary in Ohio, and Ming passed away in 2019. After Ming passed away in 2019, his ashes were then transferred back to a pet cemetery near Harlem. Mr. Yates spent about 3 months in jail, where then he got 5 years of probation, and he is barred from having any more animals. He also claims that he never wanted to domesticate Ming, which doesn't make sense to me because he quite literally kept him in an apartment building and he also had him declawed.
Dude, how could he afford to have all those animals? 20 pounds of chicken a day for the lion? And he had to feed the alligator, and I think he said he had a monkey too or something. I don't know how you do this. How big was his apartment?
We thought this couldn't happen, but we're now plunging into a dystopian reality, and how we live our lives has changed forever. Many people were in shock after a huge apartment building in Huangzhou, China went viral for its creepy, surreal way of housing. Shocking reports say Huangzhou had formed an entire town trapped inside the apartment building, and no one ever leaves. The building is almost 1 million square feet with a population of over 22,000 people, and this has already changed living as we know it. What was once a fancy hotel has turned into a dystopian town, with the building having its own giant food court, internet cafe, restaurants, salons, supermarkets, and residents can even go upstairs to go to their office to work. And reports show the apartment units going for as low as $210 US or $550 US if you want a balcony. With many believing other areas might start creating these types of apartments themselves, it begs the question, would you stay in them?
That's not even a 15-minute city there. That's like a 10-second city. I have to leave my apartment at least once a day or I'll go crazy. I can understand how some people would like this. Definitely not for me though.
This pastor is currently facing 18 criminal charges because he is helping the homeless in his city. Pastor Chris Avell doesn't believe in turning away people who need help and has made it a point that his church will keep their doors open 24/7 for the people who need a place to stay. As a result, many homeless people who the shelters don't have room for are staying at his church. Well, the city of Bryan, Ohio, where this is happening, did not like this, and they're currently slapping him with 18 charges and more than $30,000 in fines. It takes a special kind of demon to press charges against a man who's helping out the people in need. That's completely up, Miss Mayor. They hate the less fortunate so much that they would rather just have them freeze in the streets instead of helping out. The weather in Bryan, Ohio is very cold these days. Chris's lawyers are currently working to reverse his charges, but the city is on top right now and they are not backing down. Chris is the kind of religious leader the world needs more of these days, because even after all this scrutiny, he is still willing to keep his doors open for the people who need help.
Yet you have other pastors flying around in million-dollar jets with million-dollar mansions. This dude is a literal saint and they're trying to lock him up. That is so sad.
Some guy built a fake interior of a private jet in Los Angeles. They used like a movie set. They just rent it out to influencers so that they can take photos where it looks like they're on a private jet, but they're not. And they charge $70 an hour. I think it's booked out like 12 hours a day, probably doing like 20 to 40K a month. And I can't imagine the margins would be less than 80%. And I was like, that's amazing. You could just build this thing, hire a bunch of people in the movie business to build it over a weekend, and then you can own that for like years.
What was it called?
LA Private Jet Studio. It's on Peerspace, which is like a photo shoot studio listing site. I'll send it to you guys.
That's a great one.
Dude, I'm about to build me a fake private jet. Clout is more valuable than money these days. I actually want to know how much money they're really making from this. This sounds genius.
People believe that pigs contain the souls of banished humans. I'm not even gonna cap with you. When I heard this shit, I was like, what the f? It makes so much sense to me. One, I'll say this already. If you look at a pig's eyes, They strangely look human.
Yeah, they look weird.
There's even a quote in the Bible. Even the demons didn't want to go to hell. They begged Jesus to put them into the bodies of pigs.
Really?
Yes. There's just so many other things of, apparently, bro, pigs can't not even look up at the sky.
Really? If they wanted to?
If they wanted to, they can't. Cannot look up at the sky. So basically that's saying, like, you'll never even be able to, like, look upon the heavens.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You feel what I'm saying? And on top of that, bro, most religions do not eat pig. You know what I mean? They say, like, don't eat that, bro. It's
Pork,
not, at all. They don't want you to eat pig. I remember this one thing that stuck out to me, bro, and it just confirmed this shit for me, too. I remember there was a serial who he used to people, and somebody interviewed him and asked him, what does beings taste like? And this damn near said it tastes like pig.
Yeah, I remember.
And there's a bunch of other people that have said that were.
Yeah, what's the face of the guy that was turning into burgers and.
Yes, he said it too.
He said it tasted like pork.
You're talking about Joe Metheny.
Yeah, Joe Metheny. Yeah.
Yes, bro, that's insane. He said it tastes like pork.
That's crazy.
All these people said the same thing, like things taste like pork. So it's like, is that why? Because
they are.
Pigs do have creepy eyes. I'll give them that. You'll never stop me from eating chorizo or bacon. I'm sorry. It's too good, bro. Well, guys, that's all I have today. Thanks for hanging out with me again. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you're awesome and I appreciate you. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.